Number one on the list and the greatest fight of all time, in my opinion, regardless of weight class, regardless of combat sport, regardless of any other metric that you may put on it, is Bobby Chacon versus Rafael Limon 4, which took place on December 11th, 1982 for the WBC Junior Lightweight Championship. This fight is an absolute war. An amazing storyline going into this. These guys had an excellent rivalry that just increased in the spectacle and intensity with every single fight they had. These are two all-time great warriors going at it. Bobby Chacon in the white shorts having to fight off his back foot a lot more than usual against the absolute powerhouse known as Bazooka Limon in the green shorts. These guys just land some of the most vicious punches over the course of this fight that I've ever seen. Breaking this down technically is not going to do any justice to just how awesome this fight is. Everybody in this fight is hurt multiple times. These guys are just trading shots with no regard for their safety. Rafael Limon lands a knockdown in the third round as Bobby Chacon is trying to box his way out of a seemingly impossible war. Bobby Chacon hurts Rafael Limon multiple times, but just can't seem to knock him down. Rafael Limon keeps coming on with these wide body shots, these wide hooks of his that are always dangerous. He knocks down Chacon again in the 10th round, as you're seeing. And Bobby Chacon seems like he's at the very end of what he can do. He's losing the war of attrition at this point, as no matter what he does, he seems to not be able to stop the force that Bazooka Limon was in the early 80s. And by the 10th and ninth rounds, we're just in an absolute war. That ninth round, right before the knockdown, is probably the most intense round I've ever seen in boxing history. It's just insanity. The 11th, the 12th, everything is just full throttle by this point. Neither guy is willing to lose, even though they're well past their second win. They're on their fourth, fifth win by this point. These old 15-round fights in particular were crazy. And then Bobby Chacon lands his last-ditch Hail Mary punch, or flurry of punches in the 15th round that knocks down Bazooka Limon, who is able to somehow meet the count as the fight concludes. The crowd goes absolutely crazy. The crowd in this fight, in my opinion, is probably the greatest boxing crowd I've ever seen. They're fully behind Bobby Chacon, but everybody seems to have an overall respect for the warrior that Rafael Limon was in this fight and through this entire string of 4 fights. These guys were basically made to fight each other, and even though this is the greatest fight of all time, they basically took a good portion of each other's lifespans out. This is an absolute marvel of a fight and definitely one to show anybody that wants to get into boxing.